welcome back to O-T-H. OMG, it's the O-T-H show.
OMG!
It's the O-T-H show. How are you, my friend Patrick?
I'm very good, my friend CJ. That was a good. We introduced ourselves really well there that
Oh
time.
my god, we've finally done it.
It's almost like this took a couple of takes. Ha ha!
You see, it was going so well and you ruined it again.
Once again, it's my skill. It's my superpower.
Back once again with the renegade bastard. So today's O-The Humanity is going to be called Open Worlds Collide.
Wow, that's good. That's a good name.
Yeah, it's like Worlds Collide, but with open at the front of it.
That's right, because we are the Power Man 5000 of podcasts.
Yeah, so it's Open Worlds Collide.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks. Because I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and you've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2, which I often read as R2-D2.
Where everyone does.
Yeah.
I like that because we're kind of playing. They're similar games, but just different hats, really, aren't they?
Don't know. My nemesis Casualty has veered from Odyssey into Red Dead Redemption 2, and he did say he was like, got a bit bored of Odyssey now, and after playing Red Dead Redemption 2, it's like looking at a cartoon in comparison. Is it?
Oh.
Is it?
Okay.
Is it?
Bold statement.
No, that's just Casualty though, and you know my issues on that front. We've mentioned them before.
Too casual.
2 tea.
No, plenty tea. I heard you drank a tea the other day and you liked it.
Well, I did. I had an Irish breakfast tea, which apparently is considered, I found out today, is considered a builder's tea because of the strength of it. But yeah, I had it black. It was very spicy. And it got more veering into kind of like a tea version of Guatemala. Sort of as it cooled, it became sort of more spicy and more flavourful. But that was gorgeous. And
there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. CJ has enjoyed a tea. Light the beacons!
I also today had a Japanese green tea, which it turns out is a Chinese green tea, but it's very, very popular in Japan.
Oh.
And it's super strong. So that was pretty nice as well. But part of my new duties are going to be looking after both tea and coffee.
Oh my God, look at you diversifying your portfolio like a professional.
I'm moving away from the chain stores and into an artisan place. So we will see how that works out.
I was going to try and make some sort of joke about artisan sounding like arsehole, but I couldn't make it work.
But you're too proud of me.
But I want everyone to know that I tried, and I am proud. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks. I just hope it comes off because obviously I'm kind of a little bit nervous at this point.
How hip is your hair?
You know, my hair is always hip.
Is it like YouTube cool? Because I kind of feel like it needs to be YouTube cool.
It's beyond any cool that you've seen. Also, these days I am quite a slender, stroke buff gentleman. So fitness gains.
CrossFit Jesus.
Yeah, it's cost me a fortune in buying new clothes.
Curse this sculpted bod.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that because all of a sudden sort of the t-shirts that I was wearing are suddenly like ponchos. And I'm like, I went into I found a box of like older t-shirts, but they're all like really cool stuff, like really high quality sort of. There was Marvel stuff and there was Uniqlo stuff, so lots of nerdy Japanese stuff. I was like, I like this. Oh my God, this is really cool. From like back in my band days and stuff. So for a certain point, until I bought stuff to replace them, this season's aesthetic was a decade ago.
Nice.
But yeah, it's good.
Vintage.
So I don't eat as much these days, and when I do, I binge on protein. So yes, it's a bit of an aside that we veered off into new jobs and food fair for a moment.
Open world games then.
Yeah. You mean
classic Twin Humanities bit there.
You mean Open Worlds Collide.
Sorry, I did. Open Worlds Collide then.
There we go. You nearly got it.
So,
seeing as my game released first, I'm going to go first.
I was going to suggest you go first because, again, I haven't really... because I'm still waiting to play it...
You haven't written anything down, have you?
I've not really. No. What? Red Dead? Oh yeah, I've got an empty page. No, because I haven't really played Assassin's Creed yet. I've kind of been avoiding like videos and stuff because I like to play these games as fresh as I can, and obviously some stuff sneaks in, but I'd like to try and keep fresh. So I don't know that much about it, other than the fact, other than what we learned really at E3, as it's an Assassin's Creed game. It's in Greece, and you can fuck a lot of people.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything in that regard.
No, I wouldn't want
I'm
you
gonna
to.
give him. You know, we've laughed in the past about mechanics news, but
Where's the spanner?
But it's So
Clang, riveting mechanics news. It is riveting. I am actually riveted by the mechanics news. There we go.
So, as we mentioned when we've spoken about this game in the past, our friends Stephen and Ellie have both worked on this game, so consider everything that boings out of my gob in this regard as biased and not to be trusted.
Oh, you are more like corrupt Jesus.
That's me.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's me.
So, begin shilling, sir.
Yeah. So, that said, I'm a strange one when it comes to Assassin's Creed games. When I was getting into them, everyone was all like, oh, don't bother with the first one. Assassin's Creed 2 is where it gets good. So, ignoring this, I picked up the original Assassin's Creed for about £3.99 on Xbox 360 back in the day. But I loved it. I'm not a religious man, but there's something about going up a sort of crazy rocky mountain path to suddenly see Jerusalem, and it took my breath away.
Yeah. I love the first one. I bought it day one because I was really intrigued by it, and I loved the first one. I thought it was really cool.
Oh my god, I genuinely didn't think that we were on the same page with that one.
Oh, I love the first one. Yeah. I think it's later that we diverge, but like I still really like the first one. It's a little bit slower than the others, but like it was so different at the time to anything I'd played. It's like, this is weird.
I enjoyed the gameplay loop at that point. I know a few people are just like, well, really, it's more like a tech demo for what's to come, and that is Assassin's Creed 2. But,
to which you reply, you're a tech demo, and then you get kicked out of Costa.
And from where?
It's the first shop I could think of. I know it was a bad choice.
Mamma mia. Anyway, I enjoyed the first one. It was repetitive. Like I say, I enjoyed the loop, and also I can see how it can build on things from there. Story wasn't great, maybe, and it did the ping-ponging around between Old World and Desmond, who I didn't mind, honestly.
I like Desmond. I like Future Desmond a lot, and he gets a lot of stick, and I'm a big fan of Future Desmond.
I think, for me, there's a lot to be said about the character of a world. Like, when I find a location interesting, I want to explore it, and that can maybe push past some of the instances that other folks might have with a game. If I'm in with Infamous Second Son. I'd grown up listening to Mother Love Bone and Nirvana and Soundgarden and Alice in Chains, and yet Seattle existed in my head almost like an imaginary place, like a Gotham or a metropolis. So to actually wander around there, even you can even tie in my coffee love to that. Like, going past sort of Pike Place Market where Starbucks started and stuff. I got something out of that game that maybe other people didn't. I really loved the world of the first one, and didn't sort of quite get why there was so much hate for it. I started Assassin's Creed 2, saw the grandeur, like from the off, that things had gotten a bit more sparkly and there was a bit more sort of tickle to the script. Went in with great expectations. I'd listened to the soundtrack loads when I was out writing, so I looked forward to hearing that in proper context, and yet I just found the lead into the game to be far too long. And I found Italy really dull to move about in. It just didn't seem as high and as interesting as the stuff in the first game. I just find it visually kind of a bit more blah. So I just cast it aside. I saw the next Ezio games arrive, and I was rather taken by the Justice League aspect of, was it Brotherhood?
Brotherhood, yeah. Go team.
But didn't go near that trilogy again. I was curious about Assassin's Creed 3. Bought it, but only played it a bit. did love your video on it, and I hope you're going to do a new version of that video at a certain point.
I might at some point, yeah.
With the remaster.
Because I was playing Assassin's Creed 3, and there's a lot of stuff you can do that isn't assassinating, so I just spent a bit of time, recorded everything I could think of that wasn't doing assassinating, which was, taking the sword out and putting it away, and then taking it out again and putting it away.
Petting the dogs. Jumping over styes, was it? Or
just fences, styes, also, and then running through the buildings, doing the quick cinematic run through, and then turning around and going back through again a few more times. Just because it was fun, Annie's totally fine, and run, jump over a table, and we're fine.
All to Psycho Killer by Talking Heads, wasn't it?
I had a good time putting that together. It was a good laugh.
Yeah,
Probably the first, what's the word I'm looking for? Imaginative video I think I put together, other than just I'm going to record a game and laugh at it. It was the first thing I put together that had kind of a bit more editing needed. I was proud of it. I'm still proud of it. I watch it and it still makes me laugh. And Assassin's Creed 3, because you are a contrary piece of shit, you'll probably like that one, because the internet hates that one.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, because it's free with the season pass.
It's a good game. I like it.
We'll see. Everyone bollocks on about Black Flag, but I've tried to play it a few times and I just can't see it. I can see why you would like the main guy. Maybe it gets better, but
because he's a prick.
I haven't progressed far enough in it to really judge it. It's one of those where sometimes you get a first impression and you think, I'm going to play something else, but I'll come back to that. But I quite haven't. Then me being the contrarian bastard that Paddy mentions, Assassin's Creed Unity. So knives were sharpened right from the off with the E3 before it, with Ubisoft PR smashing multiple feet in every gob with the whole "women are far harder to animate." Then people found glitches, a few which glued themselves firmly into the mindset of the interwebs with memes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to pick it up. And I watched a vid that Jim Trinker and Chris Pratt did for Video Gamer, which was really positive. I saw the fun to be had, and Revolution era Paris just plain captured my heart, I guess. It dropped in price crazy quickly on Xbox One. And was packaged in with Black Flag for £20. This was not long after release.
Wow.
So I thought I'd take a go, and I absolutely love it. Arno and Elise would kind of Romeo and Juliet with sort of stabbing and parkour, and I ended up buying interlocking statues. I like those two so much.
Oh, God, you did, didn't you? Yeah, I remember you said you bought those.
Yeah. Again, the game wasn't perfect. And I think part of that was, I think they were perhaps thinking that the new consoles were going to be a bit more techy than they actually were. And there was a lot of paring back after that. There was a graphics downgrade in a patch because a few folks were bothered about lag and about frame rate and stuff. I didn't really find that. I saw it get faster and
but that's because you're not the website Digital Foundry.
Yeah, but I saw it get faster and sort of smooth out from there. But I don't know. I was really, really taken with Paris in the same way as I was with Jerusalem and the like in the first game. There was just something about it. I liked that the city seemed interesting. You could turn around corners and you might see like a crowd or people like screaming all together, where a gunshot could go off and they'd all run in different directions. You might go a bit further down the road and see a pub with people dancing. You might go into a certain place and see like pedos and just like really strange stuff going on around. You could go into like a prison, and the Assassin's Creed gameplay loop was still there. But I was just really entertained by the leads, and I was really entertained by the city. And again, I think I can go a fair way into that. Plus, I mean, Unity had a really unusual multiplayer as well. That wasn't in line with the stuff that had been in the previous games. But because everyone was playing as Arno, there were certain missions that you could go into which would be multiplayer missions, and everybody would be coloured in different ways. And there were specific missions that were only for multiplayer, and you'd all try and assault a stronghold at the same time. So you could see like the other players on the map and literally like doing a Metal Gear Solid and like nicking people, and there's everybody like moving into the center. And I remember there was one mission in particular which was fantastic, where we got through this maze and through all these guards, and we got into the town, into the center, and there was me and this other guy, and we were rushing through like angels of death. Like going for our target in the centre, went literally murder circus outside. It was great, but
I have a quick question. Did that work? Like, were the other characters in your game, were they like faceless assassins, or were they all Arnos? Were they literally quadruplets?
I think everybody was coloured differently. And you were dressed as individually as you decided to dress in the game, and you got the hoods up and stuff, so you couldn't really see.
I suppose, okay.
And you're all most of you looking from behind anyway, but it was just sort of cool, and they had sort of the timey-wimey aspect where you'd have like a specific maybe guard or somebody that would be near like this kind of magical like portal type thing, so it almost took it, because you've always got the technological and the future stuff in these games anyway, but this was sort of something alluding to something sort of quite magical, plus with Unity and me saying about the thought that they were aiming for the Xbox One and the PS4 were going to be a little bit sort of swizzier than they actually ended up being.
Cloudier.
The fact that both of those games now on One X and PS4 Pro run like motherfuckers. They're actually showcases for the consoles. I think says quite a lot. Plus, it can be picked up for a pittance now. And I think the Xbox One version, you can pick it up on CD keys for about 99p.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, but I think a lot of people might be surprised when they get past the internet jerking its knee at that game, because it was fun. I enjoyed it. Syndicate, I think I've owned the disc version twice. I have it on Games with Gold, and there's probably a steelbook still knocking about somewhere in the flat, but I've not put it on. I was so up for Origins last year. I love my Myths and Legends as a kid, but you and I were on opposite ends of the spectrum when it came to the idea of them being included in the game. But the team somehow ended up shunning them by what I presume is some sort of hallucinatory sequence in like DLC or something. I don't know.
It's like some weird sort of snake boss thing, wasn't it, in the first one?
Something
mythy. It was something.
We saw that on the trailer, but they took a stand at that, but they still put chocobos in the game.
Well, I mean, they're real.
Oh, sorry. I should know. So,
just like Pikachu.
So yeah, with Odyssey, I bought the Gold Edition Season Pass. And sorry, what am I doing? I am talking about Origins. Sorry.
The Egypt one.
Yeah, with Origins, I got the Season Pass, and I thought I'd be all in with it, but something didn't grab me, and Bayek was right boring.
Bayek. Great name, though.
I always wanted there to be a DLC where Egypt froze and the villain was called Parky, so somebody could go, Bayek, it's Parky. Which for American listeners is a northern term for it's really gotten cold.
Yeah.
So yeah, Odyssey, Ancient Greece, not up for it in the slightest. E3 showed it off and my jaw dropped.
Same. But I remember I was talking about that on the E3 show with James, like, what the fuck? Where'd this come from? Yay!
When it turned out that Ellie and Stephen were working on it, I honestly was kind of shitting myself a bit that it might not be my sort of thing.
God, please be good.
Because I am contrarian bastard. The footage thereafter looked really good. The Medusa fight at Gamescom looked fantastic. The Season Pass showed off adventures in Atlantis, of all places, which made this gentleman all kinds o' giddy. So
you did a little woo, didn't you?
I did a little plonk down £70 for the Gold Edition.
Oh, plonk, he said.
Which was sent on some kind of before 1 p.m. special delivery, which I had no idea about, meaning the postman didn't just stick the thing through the letterbox and said I had a card to go and pick it up the next day. But being a cheeky little blighter, I went down to the post office the same day at 4 p.m. to ask if it was there, and the bloke was like, "Oh, it's just been moved back in." So I was like, "Yeah."
Was that his voice?
Yeah, it was. I brought him in. Just, you can go home now. Thanks, mate. So I skipped merrily home, had some dinner, and popped it on. From the off, I was crazy taken with Odyssey. I leaned into being a sneaky poison, spear, and fire and bowman.
That's a lot of things.
Except I chose Cass. I bloody love Cass, and yes, those biceps.
Before you get in, like it seems to be like from our Twitter anyway, or mine at least. She is the choice. Universe almost 100% is her, and I get that. That's awesome. That's really cool. But like, if when I get to it, I might have to pick the man because
I think on the one hand it'd be cool to hear what you think, but from what I can tell from the people that have played both, the voice actress, the actress for Cass is the better of the two.
Okay.
And she is great. She is absolutely superb, both as a character, but her actor is just wonderful. She can do comedy and the serious stuff, and yeah, she's neat. And I'd like to say the character's a belter as well. So
yeah, the clips I've seen have sounded like good.
It's been a fun game to relax into, which is something that you and I were speaking about last night with you on Red Dead as well.
It's weird that an Assassin's Creed game can be a relaxing one.
Well, I don't know. A lot of people...
Because I've always found them quite tense.
Well, a lot of people have been complaining about game length for both games, but I think that those people really need to think about how lucky they are that they get access to so many games. When I've mentioned it before, when I was out of work a number of years ago, I put £5 a month away for Halo 4 on 360, and because I really wanted that, and that was a big ask for me at that point, because I had very, very little. I was hiding under a duvet with no heating on. We've all had the situations when we were kids that we played what we got for Christmas or for birthdays, and we played them to death.
And what you could trade at the local dodgy shop.
Yeah. So having a game that's mahoosive, I can understand why a lot of people might not have time or might not want to invest that much in one particular game. But there's another side to that, and I think people need to sort of take a good long think about how lucky they are that they've got loads of stuff to dive into. So yeah, I've been relaxing into it. At this point, I wouldn't say it's been particularly challenging yet, but I've had fun with the combat to the point.
Pro gamer.
That's me.
Clutch parries, yo.
Yeah, the combat. I what was it the other day? I had a mission to rescue someone, and I'd already just cleaned the place out for fun and loot. And there was what this mission I think took me overseas. I rescued a lass from a cage at the end of it, and she was all like, "It's dangerous around here. Can you fight?" I was just like, to the telly, I was like, "Love, I've killed every person and wolf on this entire island. Let's just run for a bit and have a chat." So then came the point where the first big story moment arrived, and I got all misty-eyed and a bit lumpen-throated, and it sort of cast me for what was to come. And then I got a boat.
I like boats. Oh, the Assassin's Creed boats are always so much fun as well. Like when Bruno and I played Assassin's Creed 3, I reviewed it. I was like, oh, the boat's really good. I just want them to do more of the boat. And then they brought out a pirate one. I'm like, they listened.
I haven't. They brought out 2 pirate ones.
They did, but the first, Black Flag. Yum, tasty game.
So I haven't done massive amounts of the boat stuff, but I have enjoyed the boat stuff. The upgrading of the boat is fun as well as you go along. Plus, it's nice going for buried treasure and stuff as well. Dipping down deep. So on the boat stuff that you played previously, did they have like buried treasure that you could swim down towards as well? I've enjoyed that.
Diving bell you could swim down with, so you could kind of go get some air and go out up again, and you could kind of whiz in and out. You could jump in the sea if you wanted to. You'd probably get bitten by a shark, but you could do it. There was little boat stuff where you go hunting. There was lots you could do with the boat.
But was the stuff actually underwater that you could get?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there were a few spots where they were like, here's a place you can go. But I don't think they were part of the world. I think they were like their own level. So you go to a point and go, here is a place where you can go stuff. And you go down, and then there'd be like a little underwater area you could play with, and then you go back on the boat and carry on. So you couldn't just dive wherever. Yeah,
I mean, in sort of, you swim down and you see some ruins, and there might be some chests down there and some stuff to pick up and some coinage. And...
essentially they were like little puzzle areas, I think. Like, go find a couple of things, and then you've done it, and you can leave now.
Before I forget on that moment, on that regard, I guess, one of the things that surprised me is in the game is the tombs. There's some Tomb Raider type tombs in here, and they're really good.
A bisexual woman raiding tombs? That's unusual.
Or man. But yeah, there's lots of places in the game with snakes in there, and you're going sort of further underground, and there's things to find, and there's loot, and there's hidden walls, and they're really good. I really enjoyed those. And as soon as one's picked up on the radar, I've been going for them. That's something else as well. Within the game, if you look at the map, there are two ways of doing it. Your default is you'll just find stuff as you come along. So if you go to a message board and you find quests to do, there'll be like odd question marks across the map maybe, and as you go and you look, you'll find stuff as you get there.
Okay.
And if you want, you can choose to go the default Assassin's Creed route where just everything is on the map from the start. So you
look at all these dots, go interact with them.
Don't do that. It actually says the recommended way of doing it is the discovery route, and it does make things more fun to find, but also less congested or overwhelming when you look at the map. So I like that.
Yeah, because that's the big problem the maps have had. Like, I think it was Brotherhood, or I think it was Brotherhood was where it first started getting bad. But like, it wasn't until I think the third or fourth one where it started getting ridiculous.
Oh, Unity was like super clogged in that regard. I didn't realise until after the first story moment that the path open to me wasn't purely working for the Spartans, that I could choose to side with the Athenians instead.
Okay.
This came down to, eventually, Spartans red, Athenians light blue, which then became Manchester City versus Manchester United. Hence, I now decimate that lot at any opportunity I can find, just like Manchester City.
Yeah, what's it like being an Athenian?
Well, the thing is that you've got a certain area, and you can attack either side, and obviously there's certain areas where, say, the Athenians in power, certainly certain areas where the Spartans are in power, and by taking down their soldiers and stealing their stuff and reducing their supplies, and eventually killing their leader, you can go into a faction battle.
Okay.
And it's just this massive war between the Athenians and the Spartans, and you're a part of it, and you try and, like, the war's going on around you. You've got the opposition sort of coming for you, and you have to take them down in any way that you want. Yeah,
that's like the shit on, like, sequences I've seen where there's like just 100 dudes on each side and everything's going nuts.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. I mean, I had an issue a little bit further on with a nuance that had missed me, but I'll go into that in a bit. But,
okay.
Yeah, so you can side with the Spartans, you can side with the Athenians, or, as I later figured out, you can just be a cunt.
Okay.
So you are a mercenary. At the end of the day. So, as a rule of thumb, I'll nobble the Spartans. The Athenians, if, say, I have to go in and get something, the challenge is then to sneak in and nick it before while not taking anybody out. So it commands sort of a different mentality going into it.
You do the Metal Gear Solid no alert, no kill run.
Yeah, but maybe you need to get like somebody's stolen some jewels and they're in the centre of this sort of massive blockade or something, and that's still quite a lot of fun. I'm enjoying that, but at this point, the only time I'll do the Athenians in is 1, if there's someone in a cage, because that's not great.
That's not cool.
2, if I'm discovered, or 3, if I fancy it.
You die now. Why? Just in the mood.
So you also have other fringe groups to take out in the game. You've got thugs and bandits, that sort of thing. They're the sort of witchy sorts, and you get cults and covens. A few that have trained bears and stuff.
Okay.
Very weird. And your actions have consequences. Bounties will be placed on your head, and other mercenaries will come looking for you. So it's a little bit like the Nemesis system, in that they all have distinct personalities and combat styles. And if, say, you're level 17 and a level 48 lad runs up...
Time to go!
Yep. You can also go after the people who have set up the bounties as well. So if you kill them, the bounty goes away. You can also pay them off if you want. I'm at the point where if these folks do turn up or are vaguely near me, I'm hunting the bounty hunters. Most of them drop decent gear as well. So whereas you've not got the Nemesis system thing of, if they kill you, they go higher up in the rank.
Yeah.
That's not there because they're mercenaries just like you. But there is the point where you might be involved in something and you just hear like, and you're like, oh shit, there's a mercenary here, and you jump to the map, and then it's like, oh, can I take you on? Maybe.
That was the thing. Like you alluded to earlier, the Nemesis system in Shadow of Mordor. That's the thing that got so good. So that's really cool to hear. Like middle of a fight, doing something else, and you just hear a ranger. Like, oh fuck off, not now, not in the mood for you.
I've seen a few videos on my Twitter of people doing their own different play styles. And you've got loads of different weapons that you can choose from. You can have a main weapon, your secondary, and I'm like I say, my play style is mainly focusing on poison, fire, and bows. A bit of spear action, and the odd heavy weapon to hit dogs with. And I don't know which writer was responsible for this line of dialogue, but hearing an enemy go, "Ah, I'm on fucking fire!" Never gets old. I promise you, it never gets old.
That is also kind of what you'd say, though, right?
It's also, there is the thing that if you've got like a fire arrow and you hit a guy, he'll go on fire. If you hit him again, he will start burning more so. But also, if you fire a poison arrow at them, like an explosion goes off.
Oh.
So you've got a certain amount of time, and you can add to this in your sort of your point system that goes up every time you level. But you've got a certain amount of time that say fire that you can use sort of fire arrows or poison arrows and stuff. But mainly that's what I'm doing. If anybody sort of comes near me, I'll just sort of run away and back off, and it's my Dark Souls playstyle basically.
I'm going to poison you from over
there. Very much, yeah. But I'm going to hide on this rooftop and jump at you from up here. So yeah, there's you've got your main missions, then you've got message board stuff. Some of it's quite mundane. You can be like, my husband is over in the other side and I have not seen him, but I baked him some cakes. Can you take these cakes to him? Which is just like, I'll just do it for the experience.
Go there, press
just
hello.
Literally over there. But a lot of the time, there's been, because I'm now a turncoat bastard, it'd be like, can you deliver this message to my Spartan brother who's over the other side of the island? Of course! Delivers message, murders brother, goes back and collects reward, murders quest giver. And if there's a fire I can throw the bodies on, all the better. All of the bodies on the fire.
Wow,
and
see, I was thinking if I was going to play this game, I'd play it as a prick, but you seem to have far exceeded what I would imagine you could be a prick
honestly,
about.
there was this one area where I was there was it was a cave, and I'd murdered these guys, and I threw one, and one was just to the left of the fire, one was just to the right of the fire, and I realised if I got somebody in the middle of the fire that it would set light to the other two, like these sort of joined up paper men. And that was the case. There was also a bit where there was a massive sort of well that I ended up throwing all of these bodies in, and I eventually dived into this well. It's just like 12 people floating on top of it when I got in there. It was funny. So yeah, I've mentioned the faction battles and stuff. Yeah, the thing that threw me at first, there was one where I was fighting for the Athenians, and I was battering into the Red Lot, and I became a bit confused about what looked like an Athenian commander that was suddenly going after me, and I didn't click beforehand that he was a turncoat spy for the Spartans. Penny eventually dropped. I offed him, but my troops were thinning massively. So I figured I'd keep battling the Spartans afterwards rather than going for the actual leader who turned up then. But once the Athenian groups had been killed, I lost the battle despite still being alive. I got decent rewards after it, but it meant that the world seems to have now reset. And after that faction battle, the Spartans had taken that area, which was a bit of a bummer. So I was I got a decent amount of XP for doing the battle anyway, but I was pretty devastated. Since then, the discovery that a decision I made early on in the game has had very serious repercussions took me back a little bit. It was very cool. I didn't expect it to be drawn on. Following that, I went into a new area, and it wasn't just new surroundings, but a new feel. Ooh. It was very tall, lots to explore, but in the valleys amidst those rocks, secrets. A certain discovery early on, more of an intimation, but definitely a discovery in that, made the 8-year-old Harryhausen fan absolutely scream. It was not nailed on, but the spectacle of what it was alluding to was like, my word. So I've yet to see the mythical stuff, truly. But on the other side of that, there are other elements in the mix to the game that I didn't expect, which are all super, super cool.
Okay. And I have a question. Like, how far in do you think you are? Because, like, I know the way you play games is quite slow. So my like, lol. So this is all on mission 2, right? For you, like, how far in do you think you are? Like, is there a percentage you think, or like, do you know how? Like, are you halfway?
Nowhere near halfway.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm going into this a couple of levels overpowered, which doesn't mean that I'm a goddess, but the points that I've put into poison and now fire are demonic.
Yeah, you're hanging out and buffing up.
And you can add to that my amazing metal octopus mask, and I'm a mermaid of vengeance. But yeah, a lot of the areas story-wise will scale alongside you as you go. So there's still sort of a level of challenge, but there are certain bits where you look across the map and you go like, level 35 to 42, I can't really go anywhere near that. Level 17, everybody dies. If I'm like level 20 odd or whatever it was. But I wouldn't say I've progressed massively through the story yet, because the side missions are kind of fun to do, and a lot of the distractions are, what's over there? There's a question mark on the map over there. What is it? Oh, it's a group of bandits, or it's a new town that I've discovered, or so there's lots leading me on, which just means, again, this is coming back to the relaxation aspect, but it just means that I can come back from work and I can fuck about for a bit. And if I fancy nudging the story on, then that's fine. Otherwise, I can just sort of monkey around and discover stuff and see where it takes me. And that's.
But you don't feel like your time's being wasted by just choosing to not progress. You've got meaningful stuff you can do and meaningful stuff that you can find and equip and just bollock about with it. Even then, it's good practice sometimes, isn't it?
I think it comes down to the fact that I'm enjoying the story a great deal. I really like the main character, and I find it tremendous fun to play and like fighting. I'm enjoying the game for what it is, but Yes. But for balance, I will play devil's advocate, because I started thinking about what would I say is kind of the downside to this. I've seen a few complaints about the game say that they feel Assassin's Creed's lost its identity. And I can kind of see that if I sort of focus in on it.
I've seen people saying, in a very, very broad sense, that Assassin's Creed's trying to take lessons learned from things like, just to throw it out there, the white elephant in the room. The white elephant in the room, that's not the right thing. Witcher 3.
Yeah, and I think it needed to evolve, maybe, but I can see the complaints of people that liked a single city and just adventuring around in that. I mean, on the one hand, the games had been viewed as being sort of quite samey, so Origins and now more so Odyssey have become open world.
Yeah.
In my journeys in Odyssey, there's been decent sized sort of cities. There's been boat stuff and now a fair bit of travelling, but some of the stuff I'm encountering as I travel further afield, there isn't a lot there.
Okay.
It could be pacing, that it starts me off on big stuff, lets me do boats and islands and then brings it back around. But yeah, it is something that crossed my mind leaning into that sort of musing. When Assassin's Creed has been at its best for me, it's been in a city with identity and true character. Revolution era Paris still stands out for me. That city was huge yet compact, and there was so much colour there, and I don't think I've felt that degree of character in a single place in Odyssey.
Okay.
But then again, I was really close to Unity sort of far more than the most. It also feels like I'm seeing very few character types on Quest NPCs. Sort of same person but a bit older, different hair, other actor maybe, but that's been there. I don't know if there's been a bit of a tweak on a patch there recently, because I'm not noticing as much these last few days, but I might just be going bonkers. But coming back around, I mean, what's driving me through is the story. And it is really good. Really good. And when there's been revelatory moments, they've not just been like, oh my god. There was one point last week where I just went, fuck. Tell it, which is great, but it also opened up like more gameplay avenues as well. The world just seemed more dangerous, and there's more things to do in the aftermath. It's not just you play the game and here's your story beat, and then you play the game a little bit more. Like I say, some of those side quests are a bit mundane. There's a very funny one with an old woman who loves fucking, and she wants you to go and find some bear bollocks and a deer tongue to make a shagging serum for her husband. That one is brilliant. It is so funny.
Oh no. Yeah,
it's genuinely great. So I love that to pieces. So yeah, like I say, the boat stuff. Maybe I need to play more of the games with boats in, because I've had some really good battles. Plus, it's nice knowing that maybe I'm going to a certain destination and I can see the Spartans, I can see the Athenians, and I can also see some pirates. And I know that they're probably going to fight each other, but if I get anywhere near them, they're all going to go for me. The songs on the boats are really good as well. I've enjoyed upgrading the boats to use like fire javelins and things. And
Black Flag's most satisfying thing was upgrading the boat, because you think, I got new guns. Well, what do they do? Badoom! Okay.
So yeah, I'm properly in. I'm wondering if I've maybe been a bit harsh on the likes of Origins and Black Flag and Syndicate, because it's the same folks. Is a real curiosity to me. Yeah. But yeah, so
I have a question. I have an incredibly Paddy question to ask you. What's the fashion like?
It's been all right.
That's not a good thing to hear. No, I need more. All right is not good enough for Paddy.
There have been.
What's the plumage like?
There's one thing on the buy currency on the Ubisoft store thing. They've got this Pegasus armor set, and it's just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But I presume normal wise, you probably have to play the games about 3 times to do it. The one thing I will say about the fashion is that the helmets are fantastic.
Yes.
They are Harryhausen level weird. And the helmets are my favourite stuff. But one of the things I got with the I think I spent Ubisoft points on it.
Okay.
You know, from like playing through, the stuff that really pissed you off with the Division, where you were like, "Why have you got all that stuff?" You're like, "Oh, Ubisoft points." What
can you play?
That you earn from Uplay, yeah. So I got and I keep on upgrading this sort of Medusa octopus mask thing because it is just great. The armor that you get is a bit like Destiny, that you've got your regular ones, and then you've got it goes to blue, then to purple, then to gold. You can upgrade them with your level, but you can also get them engraved, and each armor piece will have, say the purple ones will have 3 stats, and then they will have a stat that you can engrave at the blacksmith. Okay. So say those stats are extra power with spears. It might be plus 12 poison, or there's various
little bit of health, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and you can engrave another stat onto it of your choice, and you can pick from a long list. And the further you get into the game, the more of those engravings unlock. Plus, on the gold stuff, you've got 4 stats, but one of them is locked, and that stat is purely for if you complete a set. So if you you get extra points, say if you've got all of the snake set, but there'll also be sort of set bonuses on things that will add certain power to abilities that you've chosen when you've leveled up as well. So there's a fair bit of messing about in there, but in a good way. I like that a lot. Also, it's nice because this was one thing I saw in a Jim Sterling video where he was talking about Red Dead, and he was saying that a criticism that he had was that they're going for realism, and say if you're going to kill a turtle and turn it into a belt or whatever you might be doing, there's long animation sequences, and it's very meticulous about showing it off, whereas it doesn't think twice about letting you change your clothes on the fly on the back of a horse. But in Origins, when you're running along and say there's some metal rocks that you can pick up, or there's a tree, an olive tree that you can turn into bows and stuff, you literally run past it and press Y, and it's like ping, you've got it. And you can auto craft arrows as well now, which is great, so I don't have to keep going back. And motherfucker, I need every olive tree that I can find.
I was going to say, if you're Mr. Arrow, you must need a lot of thin, supple wood.
Well, the olive trees are also the olive wood is also used to upgrade your boat as well. So that's what I seem to be running out of a lot. But when you're doing the boat battles, I don't know if this is the same with Black Flag, that if you board another boat, you can have your big fight and stuff, and there's loot to take. But if you ram the boat and you blow it up, whichever combination you're going for, there will be stuff in the supplies in the water, like there'll be wood in the water that you can sort of pick up.
I think they had something similar to that. Yeah, I think you just got less stuff if you destroyed the boat because you sank the cargo, dum.
I get the feeling you might have fun here. I'm not sure how it will compare visually going backwards, because Red Dead is the all singing, all dancing at this point. But I'm having a really great time with it, and I'm being an absolute dick. There was points the other day where I saw a bandit camp, and I think I got some sort of long-standing bounty where it's like, destroyed 10 bandit camps. So I went in there. I was like, you throw your eagle up into the air and it does sort of a a bit of a swoop, and you see what's there. It's like, I've got two people in cages, fine. So I nobbled all these bandits anyway. Got to the cages, Spartans. So I opened the cages, I untied them, stabbed them, and then the other one was obviously looking on at this point, just thinking like, what kind of cunt is that? And so I undid his cage and untied him and stabbed him again.
There's a JoJo thing like that. There's a guy in a hospital who sends his stand after the main character, and like he finally catches up to him in the hospital, and he's all kind of sitting there, all crippled and kind of covered in like bandages and stuff. Like, no, you can't beat up a crippled man. It's like, that's right, that wouldn't be unfair, is it? So I've healed you. Don't you feel better? Oh yeah, I do feel better.
Die.
Wait, no! And then you see a shot of him flying out of a window.
But yeah, I've been a bit of an angel of death, and I quite like that. So yeah,
I didn't expect that of you. You're usually Captain Good. Like we were talking about Infamous. Yeah, I usually play Infamous like a dickhead, and like you were saying, you play it as a good boy.
I play most things as on the side of good. It's just that because I thought I was on the side of the Spartans at the start, because that's where the first missions sort of lead you in. That's where you first brought in as a mercenary. But then finding out that you can side with the Athenians if you want, then again you can just kill both of them if you want, and not even bother with the faction battles or any of that. Just if somebody gets in your way, you can nobble them. Plus, like I say, you've got cult factions, you've got thugs. You can just be whoever you want to be in it. But I've enjoyed that differential between all Spartans must die, and then if something, if I am going towards this sort of castle-like area with the Athenians in, and if one of the missions they've stolen some art prints or whatever it might be in like a chest, it's fun to kind of go in there and take them out. But you've obviously got the aspect of mercenaries turning up for you as well, some of which come with like lions in tow and like pet lions and things, and yeah. So any other questions, fire them off, my bro.
You've kind of answered them all. That last bit, that was good. That was incredibly well put together and informative, because I think you've answered all of my questions.
I think I've veered you towards the fact that you're going to have a laugh being an absolute dick.
Because I wanted to be a dick in it. I sort of figured that I might want to play this one as a dick, and like Red Dead I'm going to play as a reasonably good guy, and I feel like Assassin's Creed I feel like a bit of a cunt.
We've swapped sides.
It's completely flip-flopped. Yeah, no, like the fact you can just be a dick, and there are consequences, I'm sure, but like you can kind of think, oh, I'm not going to fuck the game if I do this, am I? Like you're just kind of free to do what you want. I like that feeling.
Well, the main consequences appear to be some of the story. Sorry, the sort of side mission stuff that I'd chosen. One of them came back to bite me on the arse sort of pretty heavily, and I was like, oh fuck. And I'm sure it's not to the point of like a Witcher 3 decision, but it was still one of those that made me go, Christ. But you're in the middle of this war between the Spartans and the Athenians, but you're not glued onto any particular side. And feel free to kill whoever you want. And say, well, it just makes me laugh sometimes, where it's like, oh, can you take this to my brother, and then you take it to him, and then you stab the brother, and then you go back.
Well, you go back. How is he? He's fine.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Here's your reward. Cheers. Stab. And yeah, I get a huge kick out of doing that. It's fun. I'm enjoying it.
I'm glad, man. Sounds good. As soon as my copy arrives, eventually, I will. Well, once I've got Red Dead out of the way, because I need to. But I think maybe probably the new year. I think I'll be playing it by Christmas, maybe.
I think it might be one of those that rather than getting open world fatigue, it might be nice to have something maybe in between to sort of cleanse the palate a bit. But I still think there's a lot in here that you're just going to sort of run about with and just have fun.
Yeah, well, we're hoping to have a bit of a VR break this Christmas and play a lot of weird VR stuff, and then hopefully I'll be able to jump back into something bigger once that's out of the way. And I think you can't just do two big games back to back anymore. I certainly can't. Did you see that Derecine's getting like really good reviews? I did, and I'll get it eventually. And I was calling it Derecine before I heard somebody say it on a video review. But I've called it Derecine as well. Yeah, so Derecine. No, I refuse. Derakan.
Well played.
Thanks.
So tell me about your history with Red Dead.
Okay, so
not just the redemption, but the revolver.
Oh, so let's take off our Spartan helmets for a second and put on our cowboy hats. Yeehaw. So I didn't really play much of Revolver. I played a little bit of it. I remember picking it up from Game on a whim on like a 3 for £10 deal or something, when they used to have really, really good like pre-owned deals on. Fuck you, Game. Why don't you do that anymore? That was terrifying, Laura. Sorry. Goodness me. She just threw a remote control at me. She was so upset. So, yeah, I picked it up for pretty cheap. I played a couple of levels of it. I thought it was okay, but I didn't really click with it that much. It was kind of a standard action game. You kind of go through levels and shoot the gun and go to Deadeye mode and shoot the gun a lot. And I think I got to the bit where you meet, there's like a trick shoot guy, who I thought was really cool, but I couldn't quite get the hang of his special power. Which is like shoot lots and lots and lots of bullets at once. You kind of hit 12 targets at once, and he kind of trick shots and goes like, oh, that's kind of cool. But I could never quite get the measure of him. And I think I had a boss, a woman with dynamite, I think it was, and I just couldn't do it. So I liked the style of it, but I kind of read it off at that point. And I'm done. Then nothing for like 7 or 8 years until they announced Red Dead Redemption. It's like, oh, this isn't the same at all, is it?
I was going to say, was there at that point a huge amount of hype around it, or was it just kind of bubbling under that it was by the same people that did Grand Theft Auto?
It was another game with the Red Dead on it, but it wasn't really related, from what I remember. Like they'd taken some ideas, but they expanded them in the same way that, say, you've got Blood Omen, Legacy became Blood Omen on PS1, which became Soul Reaver, which was like a 2D sort of Zelda almost running around a map turned into a 3D action adventure game. Like that's massively, massively different. And I think maybe they did the same thing by taking it open world and sort of messing around. It plays completely different. Like it doesn't play the same at all. And again, this is based on probably a 12, 13-year-old memory of Revolver at this point. So I could be wrong on this, and don't crucify me if I'm wrong. But yeah,
it was
I remember...
an interesting thing that I heard at the on 84 Plays podcast, because they were saying that because it was with Capcom before it was with Rockstar.
It was,
and
yeah.
I think the guy that was doing it sort of left the business afterwards. And Rockstar was saying that before they got to it, there were like Frankenstein's monsters in it and zombies and all this like really unusual stuff. And 84 said, like, we saw it before it went to Rockstar, and it's exactly the same.
Oh. Weird.
So, there we go. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, for me though, like Red Dead, my history with the franchise kind of ties into my history of Rockstar as well, because I have never liked GTA, and God help me, I have tried. I have tried with every single game in the franchise, all barring 5. There's anyone I've not tried since. I have tried to play every single one of them, and I just dial out about an hour in after every single one.
Yeah, I've not played a Rockstar game that I enjoy, which makes me a little wary of Red Dead Redemption 2, and as to whether it might be for me, to be honest.
Yeah, like apart from Red Dead, same. Like I don't hate me, but I never liked Max Payne. Jesus, Max Payne was the one I could just never get on with it very well.
That was Rockstar, wasn't it? So yeah, I did like Max Payne. I like that.
That's the one I couldn't do. Red Dead was the first one, and I think I must have rented it. I don't know if I'd have bought it outright straight away. I'm sure I'd have rented it first.
What, Love Film Job?
Yeah, almost certainly, because I love filmed a lot of stuff and then picked up a lot of it later because it turns out I liked it. But it was a good, easy, risk-free way of trying stuff out I wasn't sure about. But because I was, it is Rockstar. Oh, it could just be GTA but with horses. Oh, do I want to spend 40 quid in case it's crap? And it was handy to have at that point, because they wouldn't do a demo of an open world game like that. You'd just have to suck it and see. And it was getting great reviews, like it was getting fabulous reviews. Interest was definitely peaked, and I rented it, and I remember playing like a couple of hours, and then just like, right, ordering this. Yep, this is okay. This is fine.
Love Film was always great for that sort of thing. It's the reason that the last few months I've been on Boomerang rentals, and I quite like having that degree of being able to test something out and see if something's for me, but also going for the quirky stuff that I might only play for a few weeks, but I'll have a really good few weeks with it that I would never pick up unless it dropped to about a tenner, maybe less, or it turned up on like a PS Plus or a Games with Gold.
Sure.
but that's kind of neat. I dig that.
I miss Love Film. I really do. But anyway, we digress. So I definitely picked it up pretty quick after playing the Love Film rental version of it. Was just taken aback by just how much I enjoyed just galloping around in the world, and how much I liked the main character. He's sort of gruff and a bit unusual compared to sort of your sort of standard action heroes at the time. He was a bit more human, maybe. I mean, the whole thing was just had this sort of air of like melancholy about it. Like, it was rough, tough cowboy boys, but it was still sad at times as well.
Are you a cowboy fan?
Kinda. I like the idea of them, but I don't actually consume much media with them in. But I do like the idea of them. Mm-hmm. It's a weird thing to do, but I think Red Dead was my cowboy thing. That's my personal cowboy experience. That's my number one. What's your best cowboy thing? Red Dead, definitely, without a doubt. And I remember playing. I 100%ed the crap as much as I could anyway. I remember doing all the challenges. I don't think I platinumed it, but I came close. Played through the whole thing at least twice, if not more. Just loved every minute of it. Like, I just loved walking around in that world and, you know, going hunting for a while, or just going to go just cause some trouble in one of the towns. Or I remember in the evenings, my friend Ian would come around every now and again, and he'd say, "Oh, what games can you show me?" Because he's not really a gamer.
Yeah, my friend Pete's like that. With him being like a sci-fi guy, he gets really into design stuff and aspects that are on the site. I know he's ended up buying a lot of video game art books. As well, because of the stuff that he's seen from here,
well, my friend Ian goes the other way. He's more of he quite likes the idea of dicking around with all the toys, but he doesn't have, I don't think, the patience to, or the time even really, to sit down and actually, you know, play the game long enough to get all the weird stuff. So we would do it with anything open world or anything strange that I'd got, we put on, and we'd just bongle around for a bit. I remember Saints Row 3, that was quite funny. I was like, right, here's your character, just press L1, open up that menu, yep, now you've got a big penis bat, go have some fun. And that's all we needed for a couple of hours. Like, off we go, let's have some silly fun. And we did it at Red Dead as well. Like, so I'd load up a save, like made a save scum, you know, just to make sure it was fine. And it says, right, go cause some trouble in town. So the favourite game we'd play was blackjack. So what we'd do is you go to the nearest casino, okay, find some people playing cards or playing blackjack, and you wait, and you wait. And then when the dealer shouts blackjack, you throw some dynamite and run away. Blackjack, way! And then see how long you could last before the law caught up with you. And you couldn't leave town, you had to stay in town, you had to just run around and just shoot and shoot and shoot and keep alive. And we had so much fun playing that game. My biggest lasting memory of Red Dead, other than the big story stuff, is playing blackjack in town with dynamite. Such fun. Such fun. I even played a bit of the online, and it was still kind of hateful at times, but I played with a friend or two, I'm sure I did, and just had a jolly good time with it. Like, it was actually fun. I never have fun in that sort of thing. This sort of weird free-for-all-y open world game. Even though you were getting sniped from halfway across the map by someone you couldn't see, it was still fun, and it was on the main map of the game. Like, you were in the world. Like, it wasn't a separate, you know, deathmatch arena. You were just playing in the game.
Yeah. And
when, you know, Red Dead Online for number 2 launches eventually, I'm hoping it'll be much the same thing, which is very, very exciting. So yeah, I played and I love Red Dead 1. I've been through it multiple times. Laura's played it for when I did video stuff for my friend Andy's gaming site, MK Gaming, which is dead now, but the not helping videos I put together with Laura. My favourite one we ever did was the Red Dead one. It turns out Laura just doesn't like animals at all. Chasing chickens around rather than doing the mission. There was a moment later in the video where she's in town, and there's a lovely cute dog, and the dog cocks its leg and takes a piss, and she shoots it in the face. Didn't even let it finish its piss. What a monster. But yeah, some of the best times we had, like, doing stupid video stuff, was that Red Dead video was my favourite one, by far. Like, it's got so many stupid things that you can do in it, and like so many ways you can express yourself as a cowboy fool. So I had high hopes going into Red Dead 2. I kind of tried to stay away from a lot of the trailers and the gameplay things. Like, oh, watch this half-an-hour gameplay. Like, no. That's not how we're doing this, internet. I want to try and stay as spoil-free as possible. And I have had a few things spoiled, which is a little bit upsetting. But nothing I probably wouldn't have missed had it not been spoiled. Like, it's kind of nice to see, that looks cool. Oh, I wish I could have found that moment myself. But I don't mind, because when you do find that moment, it is pretty good. So yeah, I ordered it off Game Collection, and it turned up pretty much release day. 2 discs.
Yeah, isn't it?
2 discs.
There's one of them plays and one of them installs or something.
Yeah, data disc and a play disc. So you put the data disc in first, it installs it all on. You swap over to the play disc, give it another half an hour or so, download the update, and off you go. It's massive as well. It's like 100 gigs. It's not small. It's a big game, but when you play it, you can see why. It's not a small world at all. Did it blow you away with kind of the
world that it was presenting, how real it looked, or how stylish it looked, or what was the battle between those two?
It kind of kicks off in the snow, like in the mountains. You're escaping a heist that's gone bad. You and the Vanderlind gang, so the leader of the gang, Dutch Vanderlind, and you're basically fleeing Blackwater, which was the town from the first game, the main city from the first game. I think this is set 10 years previous, or something like that, around 8 to 10 years before. So you're fleeing the town of Blackwater because you've done this thing. It's all gone wrong. You've had to run away, and you've ended up stuck in the mountains with the law pursuing you. The snow, the blizzards come in. You're sort of struggling to get your horses through. The snow effects on the floor are incredible.
Oh yeah, I've seen them in videos. They look very special.
Yeah, it piles and crumps. It crunches nicely. Like, it feels cold when you look at the screen. Like, it's white and it's grey and it's wintry and it's dark. And you're kind of tromping through, just looking for light. And the first tutorial type missions are just really, really good, really atmospheric, lots going on. Teaches you the mechanics of the game slowly, but like sensibly, so you learn things as you naturally come to them. You start to see the level of detail they've put in, so you find this house, and stuff happens, and then you're kind of left to your own devices. It's like, take what you want, and we'll meet you outside when you're done. You can open basically every cupboard. Mm-hmm. If it's got a drawer, you can go in that drawer. You can open the drawer, you can see the stuff in the drawer, and you can then take the stuff in the drawer if you so wish. I wasted probably 10 minutes running around this house trying to find stuff to do. Like, a long time. And this is something later on in the game. Every single house that I have tried to go in, I can go in. Mm-hmm. There's been a couple of locked doors, but I get the feeling they're story locked. Like, you can't go in because the person has locked the door. But you can see in them, the stuff inside of them. Like, you can get in every single building in the game, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous on the face of it. Like, that shouldn't all work. You kind of spend, I'd say, an hour in the snow, maybe a little bit more. Mm. You kind of do a little mission up there. You kind of camp up there for a couple of days. You kind of go out and you've got to go and rescue someone. It shows you the cinematic camera at first as well. So if you touch the touchpad in the middle, you can kind of switch between the camera modes. You've got your third person, you've got your first person mode, which I don't particularly like, but it's good for the people that want that. And if you hold it down, you can go to cinematic camera. So if you're riding your horse and you're on a track, you hold the X button down to kind of, follow the path, hit the cinematic camera button, and you'll just walk along like you're in a film.
Yeah, I think I saw. Was that on the video where the horse runs into a train or something?
Yeah, every single time. Like, a lot of the videos went to cinematic mode. Horse forgot where the road was. That happens a lot. It doesn't happen to me. Cinematic mode's been good to me. It's usually me driving the horse into something stupid. Like, whenever it's usually my fault. But once you get out of the snow and you kind of get your first real camp and the things open up, like, that's when the tiny touches start going in, because this is very much a massive game full of so many little tiny touches that make you go, oh look, like, literally every day for the last 2 weeks I've been going, Laura, look at what I did, quick, come see this. I've made a little list of some of the tiny touches that I've enjoyed.
Do it.
So there are mirrors in the hotels you can go to, and you can go up to the mirror and you can inspect yourself and call yourself a piece of shit.
It's winning. It's getting you on side immediately at this point.
Already, like, okay. At the hotels, you can just stay for the night, or you can pay 25 cents and you can have a bath. And you need to bath yourself, because if you get too mucky, people won't talk to you because you're out on the trail all day and you're covered in shit. So you do have to go and wash. A couple of seconds, a minute into your bath, a lady will say, hey, do you need some help? And for an extra 50 cents, you can have a deluxe bath, and a nice lady will wash you, and you can chat to her while she's washing you. And it's adorable. You can your horse. There are about 1,000 things you can do with your horse. You can tame any horse you can find. You can stable them. You can name them. Officially name them now. Oh, my One-Bro alarm is going off. Let me go turn that off. Give me 1 second. Ah! Damn it. I have been a common fool. I forgot to put that on mute, but here we are. I'm not cutting that. So, where was it? Horses, yeah. You can name them now. So I've had 3 horses so far. I've had George Fender.
Yeah, I remember you did. Wasn't that Laura's idea?
Yep. Well, she's naming them. I've then got Jacob Landau, and the chunky cart horse I'm currently riding. His name is Remy Blevins.
It's an interesting name. I think Laura's done you proud there.
She's done well. I've only lost 1 horse so far. It was a bad time. This is probably a good time to tell this story. So my first horse, George Fender, big fan of George Fender. The first horse you get, again, the Fender is part of a saddle, apparently, and George is just a nice name, so George Fender was the first horse. And I was doing a mission where I was following up on a bad debt. So there's a guy in camp who, loans to people, and he says, right, these people have not paid back, can you go pay them a visit? It's like, okay, cool, I'll be the bad man. So you gallop along, and you come up to a farm, and like, hey, I'm looking for blah, blah, blah. And the bloke says, oh, he's not here. I think he's over the back there. So you go over to the back, and you ask the next man. He goes, oh, no, he's that guy that just sent you over here. That's him. So as you turn around, he's getting on a horse and fucking off. So you chase him down, and you gallop along, and he's galloping through the fields, and, ends up catching up to the train almost, and you're running alongside the train. So I lasso him off his horse. He falls down, thump, and I think, yes, I can get him now. So I slow my horse up. I hop off my horse to turn around and, hog tie this guy and get the money back. The horse decides, oh, what's that? And walks and just wanders straight into the train. Just like, what's this? Donk! Immediately dies. No saving it. No horse medicine will fix it. He's dead. So now I've got the bad debt back, but now I'm stood in the middle of a field with no fucking horse. I can only hold 2 guns at once, and all my shit's on it. So what I had to do is I had to then run back to the farm that I initially went to follow up on this bad debt, nick a horse, gallop over to where my old horse died, and then you have to swap the saddle over. You have to pick the saddle up off the old horse and put it on the new horse. Because if you don't do that, you lose all your shit.
Oh, right, got you.
So you've got to go get your stuff. I was very upset. Laura was very upset with me. And I'm not save scumming in this. So if I lose a horse, the horse is gone. I'm not going to bring a horse back from the dead because of, magic. I'm trying to have the decisions matter on this. So, yeah, be careful with your horse is what you should really be careful of. The horses can kick you to death if you go up against someone's horse that's not yours and they get scared. They'll punt you in the face. That's happened to me several times already. You go up and try and sort of go through the saddlebags and they kick you over. You can calm horses down. You can pat them. You can lead them by the reins and you can hitch them up. You can feed them many different things. You can brush them with a nice horse brush. When you're galloping along, if you click L3 in, you can give them a little pat and go, there's a good boy.
Oh, cool.
You can drift a horse.
Not while I'm taking a drink of coffee.
So as you're driving, as your horse bonding goes up, your horse gets more in touch with you, and its stats will go up. But you unlock the ability to basically power slide with the horse. So if you need to come to a quick stop, you can just hold R1X, turn, and just go whee and do a horse skid, which is funny.
You've not made the most of that.
It's funny every single time. However, don't do it in town, because if you knock over a random stranger, the law get annoyed at you, and then you have to run away and then pay a bounty. My biggest bounty I've got so far by accident was $300, which is fucking lots. Fucking lots, because I got caught doing something and had to fight off the law. And it's like, oh, you're wanted in this town now. 300 bounty, which is...
Does it escalate sort of quite heavily now?
Oh, the badder you are, the worse it gets. It can escalate to the wanted dead or alive status where they'll just shoot on sight. They won't even try and arrest you. You can actually surrender if you wish as well. You can put your hands up and surrender completely. Again, you have options in every scenario. It gives you 3 or 4 things you can do. You can say hello to random people. Anyone. As you're walking along, you hold L2, it will focus on the nearest person, and you have 3 options come up. You can either press square to go howdy, and they'll give you a little howdy back. You can press circle to insult them, and antagonize them, or you can press triangle, pull out your gun, and rob them. which is amazing. If you tap up while you're aiming your gun, you will point your gun up in the air and you can fire off like a sky shot. So say you want to, like, you want to rub somewhere, you can bunt the door down, shoot your gun into the air and be like, everyone get down! And you haven't got to then kill someone by accident because you've got to aim your gun forwards. It's a safe way of, like, intimidating and scaring people, which is really, really cool. What else have we got? Guns. Guns are really good.
Because you are a bit of a gun aficionado, and I remember you being quite jealous when I got twin revolvers in Immortal Unchained.
Yeah, well, I've got there now. I'm now also twin revolverman with a dual holster that kind of sits on your hip the whole time. You can purchase and find guns throughout the game. There was one time I did a mission for a stranger, and when I came back to town, he was at the gun shop and said, "Hey, cool, thanks for saving me. Buy anything you want in there, I'll put it on my tab." It's like, really? It's like, yeah, go on, go buy yourself a gun. So I go in and I bought myself a rifle. A Springfield rifle for no money. It was glorious. It's like, you guys, like, there you go, thanks again for saving me. Like, oh, that went well. Oh, nice. So your good deeds don't go unpunished, which is nice. You can inspect your guns at any point. You can pull them out. You can kind of turn them over in your hand. You can do the thing. You know what you see in films and stuff when someone's testing out what they think of a gun, and they do the picking it up and aim down the sights thing.
Yeah.
You can do that and action. You can be looking at it in your hands. You can hold it up, look down the sights, put it down again, turn it over in your hands. You can clean them with gun oil. If you don't clean them too often, they get shit and they don't fire very well.
See, I like that sort of stuff.
It's really good. You can also customize every single gun you own. You can, at the gunsmith, you can have different metals for the gun. You can have different woods for the rifles. You can wrap the muzzle of a gun in leather if you want, like a sort of almost a semi-holster. You can then get that holster engraved. You can have like wolves and shit put on them, and you can have the wood on the butts of your rifles engraved. You can add scopes and all sorts of shit to them. Like, you really can do about 10 things to every gun, and there's about 15 different colours for each bit you can have. So you can really get granular if you want to. I've not done too much of that yet. I've just kind of gone for, give me a rifle, give me a repeater, give me a varmint rifle for the small animals, I'll be fine. But I will start, flaring them out when I've got a bit of excess cash, which I will have soon, but we'll get there later.
Have you found the story stuff thus far, or haven't you done much?
I've actually done a fair bit. The game says I'm about 33% in, and that is the story completion mode on the save screen. It says 33%. I don't feel like I am though. I've done quite a few missions, but again, because a lot of the early stuff is quite low stakes and a little bit quieter, a little bit more like, you're doing a job with someone, or you're going to town with some people, or there's a fabulous story mission where you go to town with a guy called Lenny, and Lenny is the son of a black man and an Indian woman, so he's a bit of an outcast, and they've had a job go bad, and Dutchy boss just says, look, take Lenny to Valentine, just go get him drunk. So off you go. And it's probably the best getting drunk mission I've done since Witcher 3. No joke. And Witcher 3's getting drunk mission was, let's all put on dresses and summon witches to be sex with us. If we put on dresses, they'll think we're women.
Okay.
Which was fucking amazing. And every time it's like, how do we make this worse? Do that option. But this one, you take your guy Lenny to the bar, and you immediately get some drunk guys start trying to just repeat everything you say, and you can either punch him or tell him to fuck off, or okay friend, thank you, you're very charming, but we're trying to talk business, could you please leave us alone? And he walks off calmly. And it kind of flitches between blackouts, and I've seen a lot of people say that, oh yeah, it's a real thing on how actual drinking is, the blackouts are really it's an indictment of toxic drinking culture. It's not. I don't think it is. It's just a fun mission where you go get blackout drunk with a mate, and it just shifts so wildly from, oh, I'm going to get in a fight with the bartender. Next cut, you're all in a conga line. Just dancing. And frequently you lose him, so you'll have to sort of stagger around with massive drunk camera, talking to everyone. You can say, have you seen my friend Lenny? And if there's no one in your sight, you can just press square and it'll go, Lenny! Lenny! Which is fantastic. Very, very, very funny. There's some other little wrinkles in that mission, which I'm not going to spoil because it was a delight. As it progresses, it gets sillier and drunker and sillier. But yeah, it was just such a nice, what I call a nothing mission, where you're doing stuff, but none of it really matters. It's just like a one-off character thing. It happened again later where we'd rescued someone back to the gang, and I get back to town just as it's getting, or just to our camp as it's getting dark. And Dutch comes up and goes, "Oh, right, there's no gang stuff tonight. We're just going to celebrate tonight." So everyone in camp just drinks and sings and tells stories and just mucks about together. And you can, if someone's doing a song, you can go near them, press square, and Arthur Morgan, he will start singing as well. And it's just such a nice, and it probably lasted about 15, 20 minutes. Like, there's a lot of it. And I was just wrapped by it. It was just so nice to sort of wander about, and there's different things happening in different parts, so I don't necessarily think I see all of it. But I saw, like, enough. There was, like, the campfire where there was lots of singing happening, and there was the one over there where two people were very drunk and arguing, kind of, but not. And there was arguments happening between, you know, husbands and their wives, and then there were people just dancing in circles and blacked out drunk preachers. It was so nice, and an absolute, complete nothing episode. A nothing mission, where nothing really happened, but it was just a nice sort of palate cleanser almost from the guns and the shooting and that I've got to be a serious cowboy boy.
Yeah, I think it's fun to find that, whether it be you just being a dick, or you know, something more focused like that's doing there.
I'd like to address being a dick as well, because this is the first game in a long time. Like, I don't want to be a dick. I don't think I've robbed a single person.
Who are you? Who am I, for that matter?
What has happened? Like, I
body swap comedy.
Howdy. The only time I stole a horse was by accident, because I was trying to say hello to a man, but I let go of L2 a little bit early, and if you don't hold L2, the square button jumps on their horse.
What's going on between us now?
Yeah, it was like, I didn't mean it! I'm sorry! Have your horse back! You stole my horse! No, I didn't! I'm sorry!
See, there's me with the sort of more straight ahead game that's being an absolute dick and enticing you into it, and you playing the dick worthy Rockstar game, and you being the best boy.
Yeah, well, I did this in Red Dead 1 as well. Like, I never thought John Marston was a piece of shit. Like, he was, but he was always one that would do the right thing, and kind of I feel like Arthur Morgan is the same. Like, he's not a shithead. I mean, he is a shithead, but he's not a shithead, if that makes sense. And sometimes I have found a bit of a disconnect sometimes with the story missions, where, like, you're robbing folk and you're sort of blustering up to them like, I want my money, and then you just kind of beat them in the head until they give you the money. It doesn't quite gel with how I play him, but the story missions kind of have things that need to happen in them, like, you know, we're robbing a train now. Time to be a prick. You need to smack this man with your gun or he won't give you the money. Like, okay, I'll smack him with my gun, but I'll feel bad about it the whole time. See, I've generally felt like I've wanted to be a really good boy the whole time. But when I get in trouble, it's always been by accident. Almost exclusively been by accident, because I've got seen by someone that I shouldn't have seen doing something. I helped a woman. She's like, oh my God, this guy I took upstairs, you know, and we got down to it, and he started like getting crazy and trying to choke me. So I hit him with the lamp, and he's dead. Can you get rid of him for me? It's like, oh shit, okay. And I pick him up and I take him to the nearby pig pen, which you're supposed to do because the pigs will eat bodies. And if you throw him in the pig pen, you can get rid of him. But someone literally turned around and saw me as I threw him in. And then suddenly, oh fuck, now it's my problem. Okay, time to go. Bye. $100 fine. Right, okay. Which was, you know, it was a bit of a pain, but it just shows you've got to be more careful sometimes.
See, this is me sort of in Odyssey. If somebody sees me murder somebody and they run off screaming, it's blah, 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 like running in, you're dead, mate. Don't do it.
Well, the same thing will happen in Red Dead. So if you get seen, you'll get a witness, and the witness will run away and go inform the law. Like, it's not just like, ding, 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 you're in trouble. They have to run back and tell the lawman. So if you want, you can run up to them and you go, hey, wait! And you can kind of lasso them, or you can catch up to them, they run out of breath. And you can just talk to them and say, you didn't see nothing, right?
Oh, that's neat.
I'm going to squeal on you, and you can punch them. You didn't see nothing. And they'll go, okay. Or you can, like, bribe them. Like, there's lots of things you can do. Or you can just outright kill them if you want to. They're on their own. You can just shoot them in the face. It's not a problem. But yeah, there's so many, like, options in any scenario. There's loads of things you can do. And it's all context sensitive. So you're never, like, thinking, oh, God, I've pressed the shoot button instead of the make friends button. Like, it's always got, like, a nice little option in the bottom right-hand corner when you hit L2 on a person. It will tell you all the things you can do with them. It's really, really, really cool. So, looting. So you were talking earlier about when you run past stuff and it says, ding, you've got this, ding, you've got that, ding, you've got this.
Yeah,
Red Dead is slower.
That's just with in the open world you've got olive trees and you've got kind of rocks that will be like glass or metal or obsidian or whatever it might be. Plus, you know, when you're walking past areas that have got stuff that you can loot, again, it's just pressing Y, and it leaps into your pocket.
Okay, well, this is a lot slower. So when you have taken out a gang, or you've got into a fight, and you decide, actually, you know what, I'm going to loot these men for their monies, because dollars are important, you have to walk over to them, you hold triangle, and then Morgan will literally stand over the top of them, grab them by the shirt sleeves, or the shirt cuffs, whatever, lift them up, and kind of search through the pockets. It takes about 10-15 seconds for each guy, so it does take a bit of time. And I think they said they designed it like that because they want you to be, you know, they want this stuff to matter. If you're hanging around looting every single body, if someone turns up and sees you, you're in trouble. You know, you can take what you can and then get out before someone sees you. You can shoot the guys off of a wagon and then cut the horses loose so they run away and they get free rather than sitting there making noise. You can cut them free and they'll run off and it'll be quieter for you. You can pick up bodies and take them away from the side of the road, so you can kind of take them down, chuck them somewhere else and loot them there instead. I really like the hunting mechanics as well when you take out an animal for its pelts, because there's lots and lots of stuff you can do with the hunting and the fishing and stuff. And when you skin an animal, you skin the animal. It's not just camera cuts away, you got a pelt. It's, right, I'll pull out my knife, I'm going to cut down the middle of the animal, I'm going to grab under the skin, I'm going to rip it off, like rip, bit by bit. I'm then going to turn it over, I'm going to sort of pull it out from underneath, I'm going to roll it up, and I'm going to have to stick it on the back of the horse. For every single animal. If you take smaller ones, like birds or frogs or crabs, you'll just sort of stick them straight in your bag. But anything more sizable than, a fox or a rabbit, you have to take it off. With the rabbits and the snakes and the smaller animals, you kind of hold them up by the scruff of their neck, sort of grab underneath, and basically rip the skin off in one motion. It's horrible, but great.
You see, if I've killed a bear or a wolf or what are they called? It's something like a
coyote.
I want to say like Zybex or something like this weird cat thing that's just mental. Or a lion, like once they're dead, there's just like a little bit of a dot and a sparkly bit over the top of them, and you just walk past and it's like, shing.
Yeah, no, this actually makes you take the time to do it properly. And sure, it can be a bit of a drag. This is not the fastest game in the world. It is measured and it is slow, but you really feel like you're the one doing the work. Like, you're not just picking up a random ding. You picked it up. You are collecting that pelt yourself. You're seeing how good it turned out. You actually, the hunting and the loot, that sort of stuff is really well put together. You can go and just shoot random animals wherever you want, and you'll probably just get a load of rubbish pelts off of them, which you can't do anything with. Or you can take your time and you can pull out your binoculars and you can have a look at the animals first and see which ones are good and which are bad, because there's different qualities of animal. You can get poor, good, or pristine. The pristines are the ones you want, because they'll give you the perfect pelts if you kill them properly. One good shot to the face is usually the best way to kill stuff, be it by varmint rifle for smaller animals, because the bigger bullets rip them up, or you can shoot them with bows and arrows, or if it's a large animal like a bear, you can shoot them in the head with a rifle. With one good clean shot will get you a nice perfect kill. Perfect pelts, you can take them back to town, give them to the man in town. He can use them to turn into satchels so you can hold more stuff. You can also go to a trapper. If you give the trapper your pelts, he can turn them into funky clothes. Guess what I spent 2 hours doing last night?
How is the fashion?
The fashion? Goodness me. Goodness me.
Because you see, I saw one video quite early on where somebody was wearing some pretty stock stuff. And then I saw another one with a guy in a matching burgundy suit and burgundy bowler hat.
Yep.
And I was just like, that was the point where I messaged you and I was like, Pad, I think you're going to be fine.
Yeah. So the fashion, you can put your outfit together piece by piece. You're not picking a top and a bottom, that's it. You go to your wardrobe at camp, which is a big chest, and you get a lot of clothes to start with. You get a fair few options. You get probably like 8 or 9 coats, you get 4 or 5 shirts, you get a few vests, you get trousers, you get boots. So you're not just like, I am default cowboy man for the first hour of the game. You get options, you can express yourself off the bat. The clothes you put on have mechanical benefits as well. If it's cold, you'll need to wear thicker clothes. If it's hot, you'll need to wear thinner clothes. If you wear clothes that are too hot, your health will start going down. If you wear clothes that are too cold, your health will start going down. So you need to pay attention and have clothes suitable to the climate. And you can store saved outfits on your horse, so you can get changed out in the wilds. If you find yourself in the snow and in your shirt sleeves, you can get changed, which is a nice little touch in case you get you fuck yourself on a long trip. I am a big fan of the slightly longer coats. I purchased myself at the local shop a nice blue tailcoat. I paired it with a yellow waistcoat. A pretty standard cowboy hat, the default hat, some light grey white jeans, and some black boots with little metal clips on the front, and a pair of stirrups as well, a pair of spurs on the bottom. I have put together a cold weather outfit with a big kind of layered winter coat over the top. I have made a I'm robbing a train outfit, which is all reds and blacks.
I like that you've got a wardrobe for life.
I have. I spent a good bit of time yesterday hunting down rams because I wanted ram pelts. And while I was hunting rams, I happened across a legendary animal, which are special ones you find. You have to track them down in very unique fashions. But once you've found them, you don't have to worry about shooting them wildly. You can just shoot them down with whatever you want. You can't fuck the pelt up. So feel free to shoot wherever you feel like. And then you take that back to the trapper, and then he will unlock the ability for you to make like legendary clothing, which has no mechanical benefit apart from the hot and cold whatsoever. Nothing. It is just fashion. There is a place you can take other bits from the animal. I got a legendary horn. I can swap that in for a trinket, which gives me a little 10% XP bonus for something, or it'll give you small benefits later on. But I found that my legendary ram pelt I taught back was a very white pelt, has enabled me to buy the most magnificent pair of furry white chaps. Like big, white, fluffy flares almost. So I immediately bought those as soon as I could. Went back to town and put together a new outfit. I've removed the jacket this time. I've got the pelt, the furry trousers on. Before I did that, I found an option where you can choose to have your cowboy boots either inside or outside of your jeans. It has options for both. If you're wearing just a shirt, you can have your sleeves rolled up if you choose, or you can have them rolled down. You can open your top button or have it closed. You can layer up any combination of things you want. As long as you're basically dressed, you're okay. You can take your boots off if you want to walk around with dirty man toes. My current outfit is a nice dark hat with a turkey feather in the side, which I bought by finding lots and lots of feathers and turning it into a little charm. So I've now got a feather in my cap. A deep red leather vest and a nice blue shirt with the sleeves rolled up, and these dirty great white pants. I did put a picture on my Twitter the other day of what my guy looks like, and I am very happy with him. He is a pimp daddy and no mistake. And where does being a pimp daddy? Oh my god, the beard stuff.
So are you going full beard, or are you going... I'd imagine you might go handlebar moustache.
You would be right.
Of course I am.
You would be
okay, let's face it. You selling sofas at that festival a couple of months ago was essentially exactly how I imagined you be in Red Dead Redemption.
Just training for that, yeah. You're kind of basically right. I did want to go with just mutton chops to start with, and me and Laura decided actually we don't like that look. We want to try something different. So I thought I'm going to go full moustache. So hair grows naturally. You can't go to a barber and say I would like a full beard, please, and it goes bing and it's on your face. You have to grow it yourself. You have to wait. You have to go buy hair tonic from the local shop and drink that to make your hair grow faster. It takes time, in terms of in-game days. You get a unit of growth on one of your beard places every day or so. And that can take a bit of time. Each section of hair, so you've got chops, you've got moustache, and you've got chin. Each has its own level of growth, up to 10 in most cases, I think. My moustache is currently level 7, and it's looking bushy as fuck. I've seen a level 10 moustache, and it's ridiculous. Like, it's a walrus.
Is that squad goals, is it?
It's really squad goals.
Yeah.
I was shaving my chops and my chin, for the most part, for a long time. So I'd noticed whenever I got a bit hairy, I'd stop by the camp, or I'd stop by the nearest barber and get my chin and my chops shaved off, just to keep the beard going. I have since now left the chops on, so I've got that kind of Lemmy sides and moustache, but no chin. And that's looking pretty good at the moment. But the fact that you can piecemeal decide, do you know what, I want the moustache just a little bit shorter. I'm going to go back to level 5 on the moustache. It looks a little bit sharper that way. But you can just be so piecemeal with it. It's ridiculous. And hair, you can only do certain styles. You can actually style the beard as well. You can do like a split fork beard, or you can have a pencil moustache, but you've got to grow to a certain length before you're able to do that style. So you can't just say, I want a pencil moustache with no face on. You've got to grow it out a little bit first before it even lets you do it. You can have your hair parted various ways. You can have your hair cut back to cropped balding, and then you can have it grow back naturally. My guy has a little bit of a mullet going on right now. I'm okay with that.
I can imagine you are.
It's amazing. And when your hat gets knocked off, which it invariably will do when you're running around, you get this glorious hair flapping about in the wind, like, I think I might need the hat off for a while. Hats. You can pick up hats from the floor from men you've killed and swap your hat for that hat. Like, I have tried on... I see bandit camps as an excuse to try on hats. Like, there's some bad guys, and also that guy has a top hat.
This is how they lure you in.
Yeah, and the animation's so good as well. Like, it's not like a ping, the hat changes. He reaches down, he picks up the new hat, puts his arm up to his head, knocks the old hat off with his arm first, and then puts the new one on. It's just every single interaction, every little thing that would just be it's on, like a snap and it's done, has an animation, has a little moment. If you eat food while you're walking around, you'll pull out a can of beans and you'll eat the can of beans. If you feed the horse, you have to lean around and feed the horse. If you drink whiskey, he will pull out a bottle, he'll drink it and throw the bottle away, and it will exist in the world for a while. At camp, you can get a cup of coffee. You pull out a metal cup, you pour yourself some coffee from the fire, and you can just walk around, and you can just drink, and you can sit down, you can talk to people, and you can just have a morning brew.
Do you realise you said that the skies had opened when I'd become rather fascinated with the tea, and then I would be doing tea stuff in my new job, and there's you in your game drinking coffee.
What better than that? So you have your 4 or 5 gulps it takes to get through while you're talking to people, and then rather than the cup vanishing, he takes his cup, flicks out the bits onto the grass, and then puts it away.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Such little animations that just little moments, and this is what the game is. Like I said earlier, it's a massive game. But it's got so many of these little tiny moments that make you go, oh, that's a good attention to detail. If you go to a shop, okay, you can either pick things up from the shop shelves and just buy them there and then. So if you see whiskey, like, I need a whiskey, like, oh, yeah, bought some whiskey. Or you can go to the counter, get out the catalogue, and it's got an oldie-timey, 1880s catalogue with really weird shit adverts in it for, like, are you feeling vim and vigour? Well, try so-and-so's medicating tonic. And it's a whole catalogue. It's like 100 pages of adverts and things you can buy. And you can go through and go, oh, let's see what that hat looks like. And you go to a wardrobe. You can see what the hat looks like on. And you can whiz back out and flick through the book and try something else. Every single, detail of every shop and every place you go to has got, craft and got something going on. If you whistle for your horse, if you hold the button down, you whistle longer. You can tap it. You can go, or you can go, I can't whistle tonight. But you get the point. So you can really put as much personality into it as you want. And now this is going to sound really bad, so you're going to need to bear with me on this. We're going to get through this one, okay? Are you going to
do a bit of devil's advocate, or is that what you're about to go into?
This is going to sound really, really terrible, and I apologise now. But
why? I was at least sort of. I tried to figure out some aspects, whether they be my own opinions or the
no this is not something like that. You'll see. So basically, I obviously there was a lot of controversy going around with Rockstar with the work hours, 100-hour weeks, which I don't think was probably that accurate, but 70, 80, 90-hour weeks, of
Pat, they are
enforced. Yeah, so open brackets, close brackets, enforced overtime, and everyone's happy to do it, but are they really? And it was bad. We were all following on with that story. It wasn't great. And there you go.
I can tell you personally that stuff is right.
Yeah. However, the problem I've got with that, and I think it's terrible, I agree. However, the problem I've got is the game is making a really good case for that being a fantastic thing to do, because the game is brilliant. And it hurts me in the brain. It really hurts me, because I want to be, all about support the devs, solidarity, and I think you can.
You need to form a sharp differential between anything like that being even vaguely okay. Yeah. Never mind the game. I mean, the game being sort of super swizzy and brilliant is a wonderful thing, but the things that I've read and the things that I've heard from that I've heard personally are not right. 100% not right. And
Well,
one being okay because your game is fine is frankly just bollocks.
Yeah, well, I mean that from not a serious point, obviously. I don't mean that in a serious way. The joke is, turns out modern-day slavery is actually quite good. But yeah, I don't mean that in a serious way. But it does... I have conflicted feelings about how I feel about the game, because it is fabulous, but I also am outraged at the same time. But the game keeps overwriting that because it's really good. And I know, it's really bad to just forget about that stuff because it's really important. But the end result has just kind of almost washed that argument away. Like, people aren't talking about it anymore, are they?
Yeah, but
it's gone already.
That doesn't mean the argument should go away.
It doesn't. I agree.
Under the carpet at all.
Completely. And I like you say, it's not coming from a tone of seriousness. Like, I do think it's terrible.
I mean, I saw some stuff when Warframe launched Fortuna recently, and when they said they were getting close to it and they were trying to wipe out bugs, or it was coming in the next few weeks. Literally everything I was seeing on Twitter was like, take your time, look after yourself, look after your health. You're more important. We're looking forward to it, but we'll play it when it's ready. All that sort of stuff, and it was really encouraging. And that crunch stuff is just diabolical, especially for the length of time that it went on for as well.
Yeah,
it's not just it's the final few months before the
years,
game. The game comes out. It was a long time.
And the thing is, I could have waited another year for this easily. I could have waited a year for it to be this good and have it come out, but without this bullshit Labour stuff going on. I could have waited a year for this, and it would be just as good, if not better. I don't know. But yeah, it's the one probably like big negative about it that I've had. That I've felt so conflicted while I've been playing it.
Oh, it's been on your mind, has it?
Yeah, it has. Because seeing all these little details and thinking, right, who didn't see their family this week because the horse is shitting in the back of a cutscene? Like, who is, working themselves into ruin because they've had to make models for the animals and then skinless models for the animals and then skins of the animals for everything. Like, it's the level of detail is ridiculous, like utterly ridiculous. Far beyond anything I've played that I can think of, even sort of surpassing things like Witcher 3 and stuff, in terms of the level of stuff you can do with it. Every item is modelled, everything is interactable, everything. There's nothing that's just like, oh, you're picking a health item from the menu. You'll never see it in the real game. There's 17 different health items, they're all different. They all have their own models, they're all the individual things, they have their own animations, everything is different. But yeah, on the other side, it's been on my mind, and it's been the biggest nag while I've been playing. By a mile, and it sours it slightly, and I still love it. I'm having so much fun, and I am taking my sweet time. And the game is not quick. Like, it has been probably 6 hours since I interacted with the story mission. Like, I'm just wandering around, hunting random animals, doing odd strangers in the wild, just meeting random... just enjoying the world. And the world is so well realised, you can do that. You can just... The game keeps up. You can go, right, I'm going to go hunt for a few hours. Like, yep, cool, off you go, have fun. Don't shoot people, you'll be fine. And it is that, like you say, that sort of evening, turn it on, bollock about for an hour or so, whoops-a-daisy, 4 hours have gone. I've achieved nothing of consequence, but I've had fun.
Yeah, but you've equalised the day. Like, whatever the stresses and strains of the day have been.
I do find the hunting quite therapeutic. Like, it's slow, and it's patient, and it's measured, and the sort of thrill of, like, looking at the map and going, right, okay, so I'm pretty sure there's elk up there, so I'm going to go there and find them. And there's never any options. Like, if you're trying to find a certain kind of animal, you just kind of have to go where you think they are. And it has got icons on the map that show you, oh, rabbits are about here.
You see, one thing I heard which I was really impressed by, which I don't know if it's common knowledge, but they were saying that if you switch the map off, people will give you directions to things.
Oh, that's neat. I've not been brave enough to turn the map off. I've not been brave enough. I'd like to, but I've never been brave enough.
I just think that's really cool, rather than it's like, right, where's my waypoint to go to the mountain? You just go to the guy in the street, you'd be like, you need to head up this road and then veer off. I'd dig the heck out of that.
I might turn that off tonight then when I'm playing later to see what that's like.
Just see what it's like, because I think it does make the world more personal, and you start recognising landmarks, and you start getting used to, you know, you might even notice more of the artistry for seeking that stuff out. But I'd be interested to get your opinion on that, definitely.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I have been paying a lot of attention to the world. Like, I remember places when you get a treasure map, it's like, oh, there's something near this particular bit of rock. You know, oh, I've seen that piece of rock. I know where that piece of rock is. I'm going to that piece of rock, and I'm starting to learn how to navigate between the local towns. Anyway, I can get to them without looking at the map now. Like, I know where they are, and I know which turns I need to take, and which bits of woods I need to kind of go around, and where's a blind edge and where's not a blind edge. And I've really enjoyed like navigating. I'm really upset that none of our machines we've got can deal with the companion app. Which has the map, and you can set waypoints on the map, and you can deal with your inventory in there. So the screen is then uncluttered, and you can just look at the map on your lap almost and go, right, I'm going up, left, right, yep, and you can look back at the screen and off you go. I think that's brilliant. And the game does have a paper map inside the box, but I don't want to start drawing on that. You know what I mean?
I'm curious to see what you make of the directions stuff. So you'll have to drop me a line on.
Well, I'm not in trouble at the moment, so I can talk to anybody and I won't get in trouble. So I'm definitely going to try that. Speaking of getting in trouble, there's one final thing I'd like to talk about. Was the sheer wonderful catharsis of coming home at night with bear pelt on my horse and a bunch of wolf pelts and a rabbit I found as well, everything strapped to the horse, galloping home, hearing something off to the side of the track, people shouting about brothers and inductions and stuff. Like, what the fuck's that? So you get off your horse and you look through and you see the Ku Klux Klan. Just 20 of them hanging out, inducting a new brother, spouting all that white nationalist shit. Did
you go for him?
Mate,
I'd have been straight at those boys.
I crept up quietly. I got nice and close. I hid behind a tree. I waited for my moment until they were all kind of together. And I threw a fucking stick of dynamite in the middle. It was amazing. And this is the thing I'd seen other people do on Twitter. Like, because it's that wonderful, like, get fucked moment.
Did they then turn into Ku Klux Blam?
Oh, that's good.
Thanks.
That's good. So you blow them up. You pick off the survivors. There's only about 4 that survived it. So I picked them off one by one with my revolver. Which is like pow, pow, pow. Headshot, headshot, headshot. Get fucked. And as I was kind of running around picking stuff up off them, Arthur Morgan, the main character, just sort of grumbles along something on the lines of, I'm going to kill every one of you hood-wearing motherfuckers. It's like, yes! Go on, mate! I knew you were a good person. And then, after looting every single Ku Klux Klan member and finding weird notes with some of their horrible meeting notes on them, which was a bit disturbing, but like,
really?
They put the details in, I then got killed by one of their horses kicking me in the head. So, well done, video game. You got me. Well done. But yeah, like, there's so many little moments in the wild that you'll meet some of these like strangers that have, personality. And like that guy that bought me a gun, like, that's weird and brilliant. Okay. And just like the amount of detail that is in this game is just, it's stupid. It is dumb that you can make a game that's this full of stuff to do and this well realised. Like, it's stupid. And I'm not, by any stretch, a long way in. And I am not, by any stretch, going to be finishing this anytime soon. I know people that have finished it already. It's like, dude, fucking how? Fucking how? How did you not need to stop and go hunt?
I often wonder about things like this. Like, there's the stuff with Odyssey where they were saying about... And I think they might have smoothed things out with the patch, because I heard that when it gets to level 16, sort of 17, things became much more difficult, and they were saying that it was veering people towards buying, XP boosters or whatever it was. But I'd imagine a lot of the people that were playing it for review were just cannoning through the story.
Whereas
here I am, like, really having fun exploring places and doing the little missions and doing the side stuff. And I'm like 3 levels above where I rightfully should be.
Well, this is interesting because the person I chatted to, there's one of my volunteers in store, his cousin came in and he'd finished it. Like, it's like a week and 2 days in, like, fucking how, dude?
What, Red Dead?
Yeah. I was chatting away. He was like, where are you up to? I said, I've just done this, this mission. He went, really? God, you're nowhere. I was like, yeah, I know. I said, how long are you playing? I was like, about 15, 20 hours. He went, what the fuck? How? So we were chatting away, and like he basically banged through it really quickly, and it surprised me. Like, I don't... He obviously enjoyed it, but like I don't know if he was enjoying it in the same way that I was enjoying it. Like, some people play the pace of this, and I've heard this of Assassin's Creed as well. They say the pace is slow. It's like, no, I think the pace is correct. Just you're wanting to rush something, and you're not going to get it done in 20 hours. You just want to get to the end of the game so you can see the credits. Like I don't understand. Like, this sort of game is big and it's full of stuff to do.
Because you see, some people
like, I want to do the stuff. It makes you want to do the stuff. I want to take my time and see the stuff and do the stuff.
You see, I'll put it to you, like, if some people will meet a character who's then going to send them to another place, and they will run off straight to that place to do it. Me, I will meet that character and just go, is that a massive stone lion in the background? Jesus, look at that statue. What's down there? Oh, what? And, this mission, that sounds good. I'll get distracted by the minutiae, and I'll quite like the trouble I can get into, or the fights I can have, or the mercenaries that are coming in.
A story mission is something that happened by accident when you're in the area.
No, every now and again I'll just go, I'll kick this on a little bit, but I'm in no rush to do so because I'm entertained, and I plonked down a serious amount of money to get the version with the season pass in there, and I don't know, it's just nice to constantly fall into this world, and I've not even vaguely gotten near seeing the actual myths and monsters yet. I've had like a rather fantastic hint of it, but it's just really entertaining and engrossing, and I don't want to. For me personally, I don't see the joy in cannoning, in literally rinsing something and ready to let it go, especially when there's been that much craftsmanship that's been put into the game, and there's so much nuance along the side. It's the equivalent of, when you read a book and you really love the book, and oftentimes it's the point where the book veers off to the left and veers off to the right that are the most memorable, like unusual, quirkiest moments. But when they do a film version, they're just plotting a straight line right the way through it, and that's the stuff that gets lost. The bits on either side, and it's the equivalent of that.
I can see that. Definitely. Like, why wouldn't you want to immerse yourself in the world? Like, I mean, I'd do the thing where you go, I'm going to go look over there today. What's over here? Let's go for a wander.
Because if I'd gone been speaking to the Odyssey equivalent of that, and then just sort of going through to the missions, obviously we'd have a lot of conversation about the actual story. But me going like, did you do the thing where the woman wants you to go and get some bare bollocks and a deer tongue, so her husband can shag her faster, harder, more? And they'd be like, what? No. Did you do the thing in the? You could just keep sort of spouting.
Did you do this dumb thing that you found in the world? Nah, I ran past it. Like, no. Like always in Red Dead, stop for the strangers. If you hear someone shouting for help, go see them. It might be something weird.
How many mercenaries did you know? Well, I didn't really bother with them. Why? It's fun. And you've got a mercenary menu anyway, so you can see them like looking away with shame when you've done them. But that will then reveal another mercenary that's a bit further down, and it's a bit harder and stuff. And I'm having fun with that.
Yeah,
seeing
you take your time, you clear things out the way you want. I've only rushed a bit of Red Dead once so far, because I knew I was very close, I could feel it, to a mission where you unlock a slightly better Deadeye, where you can, basically the Deadeye in the game, 2 hours into the podcast, right, Deadeye is where you pull your gun out, go to like slow-mo mode, and you basically drag your cursor across the things you want to shoot. And it kind of goes, right, ding, 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 shoot. And it will then go bam, 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 and shoot them all off one by one. The problem is the targeting's automatic at first. So if you want to try and get like a perfect animal kill, or you want to shoot them in the head, it might just target the body by accident because you're trying to drag your cursor over and you miss. You're like, oh, fuck, I've ruined that. I was told, because I asked, like, when does that get, like, where you can manually say, I want to shoot that bit? It's like, when you rob a train with so-and-so, like, okay, I think that's halfway on. So I rushed that bit. I got about 3 or 4 missions done in a row just to get that, and then I haven't done a story mission since. Because it's made my hunting better, and I was really enjoying the hunting, and I did it to make sure I could do more hunting for clothing. No other reason. Fashion only. And it shows where priorities are, doesn't it? Some people want to race to the end. I want to look like a cool boy before I do.
Yeah, well, likewise, I'm kind of enjoying being the mermaid angel of death.
But yeah, any questions you've got? Like, I think I've covered every note I've written down.
Yeah, no, I think you've answered it. It's nice to know personally sort of the degree of nuance, and that we're each playing our games in the same way as the other would normally do it.
Oh, here's one. You can play dominoes.
There we go.
And they're so much fun, I want to get a real set of dominoes now, because me and Laura have been sitting there talking about how best to play dominoes, and every time you win, Arthur Morgan goes, "Domino!" Which is the dumbest shit. It makes me laugh every single time. Damn it, game bleeding into the real world.
Right, well, thank you folks for listening to us discuss our open
Worlds Collide. That's good. Were you waiting for me, or were you going to do it?
I was waiting for you.
Oh, I only caught on a little bit too late.
But yeah, we shall be back again in the near future. So thank you very much, and goodbye.
Toodaloo, everyone. Partners.
Very good.
Thanks.